Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to be ranking all the guns in Apex Legends so far. This video has been highly requested, so I thought I'd better give it to you guys. There will be a D, C, B, A, and S tier. D being poor, C being average, B being good, A being amazing, and S being the best around or a must-have in a loadout. Do remember though, guys, this is my opinion, so don't flame me in the comments saying Mozam is an S tier gun. Feel free to leave your own tier list or thoughts down below. Also, a little side note, this list does not include any care package weapons. Before we get into this video, make sure to subscribe if you enjoy content just like this, as well as tons of tips and tricks videos. Without any further ado, let's get into the list. Starting off with the D tier, we have the P2020 and the Mozambique. Sadly, Hammerpoint hop-up has been removed in Season 9, so the P20 and Mozam have been left feeling pretty doo-doo. Although they did get a small damage buff, they just still cannot compete with other guns like the R99. Now moving on to the C tier. At the bottom of C, we have the RE45. The RE45 can be an absolute beast, but this is only if you get some decent attachments like an extended mag. Without a bigger magazine, I find myself only being able to crack enemies' armor with my puny 16 bullets. Coming in next is the Devotion. The Debo is an interesting gun because if you can fully kit it out, it is OP, but without attachments, it is just way too bouncy and inconsistent recoil. If you can get some attachments on this gun though, you will have an absolute blast, and that is why it is in the middle of C tier. Next gun in C tier is the longbow. Back in the early days of Apex, the longbow was the best of the best. Unfortunately now, it is just outdone by most other snipers and marksman rifles. Personally, I still love running longbows in pubs, but it can be very strong if you can hit your shots, but the bullet drop makes it difficult to use at range. Now moving on to our better guns, and this is where it gets saucy, guys. Coming in next, we have the charge rifle. When I use the charge rifle, I feel like I have aimbot because this gun is nasty. Although it has a much slower time to kill than most other snipers and marksmen, and that's why it's coming in at the bottom of B. Next up is the Sentinel. This is my favorite sniper, and honestly, I can't tell you why. I love it so much. I just seem to not miss a bullet. I find that the time between bullets is a perfect time to line up your next shot, and that damage amount is pretty rewarding. Coming in next is the Hemlock. I find myself either hitting every bullet or missing everything with this gun. I find the burst pattern is pretty awkward, as when you ADS and shoot, your ADS speed slows significantly. This gun is pretty OP if you can hit your shots with it, and its single fire is pretty good as well. Coming in next is the Alternator. Now the Alternator is an absolute beast when it comes to hipfire. This gun has precise hipfire aim and hardly any recoil. I definitely recommend you try it. The recoil pattern is also super easy to control as it goes straight up and down. However, personally I do prefer to use the other SMGs in the game, but this gun is fun. Coming in next is the sweatiest gun in the game, and of course this is the Wingman. The Wingman is the type of gun that you hear someone using it and immediately you're just dripping with sweat. The Wingman is quite fun with a variety of hop-ups you can use like the Skull Piercer and Quick Draw. Wingman is a gun that takes a bit to get good at, but once you're good at it, you'll be racking in kills. Now moving on to A tier. Up next is the Havoc. Now the Havoc is a beamer. This is one of the easiest guns to one-clip people with because of its insane fire rate and nutty bullet damage. The recoil on this gun is very strong but easy to control, because all you need to do is just pull down to control it. The iron sights in the Havoc are also pretty good, and if you fully kit out the Havoc, the thing is a beast. However, it is not the best at range due to the recoil, but it wrecks at close range. Up next is the G7. The G7 is probably the best gun for medium range engagements because of its insane damage and trigger finger feel to it. The iron sights on the G7 is pretty doo-doo, but if you slap it 2 or 3 times on the G7, it is insane. This is a great gun, and if you're trying to farm a damage badge or trying to get some high damage games, I love running R9 and G7 because you'll be destroying kids at all ranges. This is where the G7 deserves a spot in A tier. Up next is one of my all-time favorite guns, and this is the Mastiff. The Mastiff recently received a bit of a rework / nerf. Respawn nerfed the damage significantly, but increased the fire rate a lot. I still find the Mastiff pretty strong if you can hit your shots. I love running an SMG and Mastiff because you can crack that armor with your SMG, then switch to the Mastiff and bop them. Coming in next is the Eva. The Eva is probably one of the most underrated guns in the game, and here is why. Most people don't know, but the Eva is a full auto, so you can just hold down the trigger and fire it away. All you need to worry about is aim tracking. If you can get a shotgun bolt on the Eva as well, it is even more OP. 9 out of 10 times the Eva will beat a Mastiff in a gunfight, so I definitely recommend trying it. The Eva hits hard with its damage as well, and you can almost always kill them with 4 shots. Up next is the Flatline. The Flatline has to be one of my all-time favorite guns because of its high DPS and fire rate. The Flatline has some of the best gun skins in the game, especially the Season 4 110 skin. The Flatline will beat most guns in close range fights due to its strong DPS and insane hipfire. Although the Flatline isn't the best gun at range because of its side-to-side recoil. If you slap it 2 times and an amber receiver, you will be destroying at range though. Now this next gun has me and many other Apex Legends players excited. This is of course the new bow. This weapon has so much potential with the high damage, but also varying damage and a trigger finger feel to it. This gun sounds pretty strong even without attachments, but guys, it gets better. The bow can hold shatter caps, which turns it into a literal shotgun. You can also use Deadeye hop-up, which lets you shoot insanely fast at an increasing rate. The bow has so much potential, and I'm glad to be seeing it pretty meta, so it definitely deserves a spot in the top of A. Now moving on to S tier. Coming in at the top of the meta guns is the PK. I'm so glad that the PK is back on floor loot. Guys, this is giving me Season 4 vibes. This gun is insane, and honestly I'm surprised they didn't nerf it more. This gun can be a shotgun and a sniper with its precision choke, and this is definitely the best shotty in Apex with its insane damage, extreme range, and fast-paced shooting if you get a shotgun bolt. This is probably my favorite update of the season because it's one of my favorite guns. Coming in next is the Volt. The Volt has been meta ever since it was added to the game in Season 6. The Volt has a great mag attachments and other good gun hop-ups. The Volt has a great DPS and hardly any recoil. The Volt is one of the best guns in Titanfall and is also one of the best guns in Apex. And the Volt is my favorite energy gun due to its potential to one-clip people. Up next is the R99, the best SMG in the game. The R9 is an absolute beast at close range fights, with or without attachments, and it will outclass most guns in Apex. The R9 has very easy recoil to control and clean iron sights. The R99 is a great gun to switch to mid-fight and finish your kill with pure speed. Coming in next at the second best gun in the game is the Spitfire. The Spitfire has the biggest mag in the game and will beat every gun at close range because if you miss a couple bullets with it, you don't need to worry because it has so many bullets that you can just continuously shoot. The only way someone can beat you in a fight is if they one-clip you. The Spitfire was slightly nerfed this season, but honestly it hasn't changed much because of its damage, DPS, recoil, and mag size is insane. At number 1 is the R301. The R3 is my all-time favorite gun because this monster is a one-clip god. The R301 has the best iron sights in the game because it's like a rail. The R301 has the best attachments in the game as you can rock a 1, 2, or 3 times and still be beaming. The R301 has amazing attachments and solid hop-ups. The R301 recently received the anvil receiver back, and it's literally a sniper with it. The R301 is 100% the best gun in the game, and it is certainly my favorite. I hope you guys found this list helpful or even just enjoyable. I really enjoy making these types of videos, so comment down below if you want to see more types of videos just like this. But I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you guys who've stuck around to the end. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And if you guys enjoyed that video, make sure to check out these ones.